A very good morning. It's Mark here. It's Wednesday the 15th, just after 8 a.m. Eastern, 109 GMT. And sitting and watching and waiting for the 8:30 a.m. release, the CPI data release. It is, I believe, will be a real market mover today in light of the current situation. It's an inflation indicator. Has a marked effect on the US dollar and all related markets. And as I say, that is in 20 minutes time, and we'll watch for that and see how the market does respond. Starting off on the US dollar index, interesting, we can see the US dollar has definitely taken a breather. Is it a breather? Is it a retracement? The EMAs have crossed to the downside, signaling a reversal. Long way to go until that, till a real reversal is established. But as technical traders, they have crossed over, and that does signal a down trend. Testing this inner ascending trend line, you can see, and that was at 108.75. It's already bounced off that to start the day. We've got a deeper ascending trend line, and you can see that's more around the 107.57 level. But it has been for the last 3 days. We've seen a reprieve, we've seen a retracement. US dollar as it tested that 110 level. There has not been demand at the 110, and there's been this turnaround, albeit not drastic. It is 3 days of red, even though today looks like, after coming down, buyers did step in at this 108.79, and we'll now see if it can get above the 109. 109 does look like the pivotal level going into today's session. Let's look at the S&P 500. Bearing in mind it is 20 minutes until Wall Street gets going, so this is pre-market conditions. Yesterday we saw small red candlestick. We saw the price did come down, but from a technical point of view, you can see we have higher. Yesterday's candle has a higher low, and it has a higher high than the previous day's candle. Characteristics of an uptrend, although the trend still is down. It will take one more day, I guess, until we get technical confirmation. If today this carries on, the buying, then we will see the EMAs cross over. Inverse relationship with the US dollar is back intact. Weak US dollar, as we've seen, and we're seeing a bit of a fight back, possibly strong equities reflected in the price of the S&P. 5,900, and that's kind of where we're sitting now, is looking like the number to watch for today. Let's look at commodities. Nice strong showing by gold to start the day. Yesterday was up, today is up. Nice inverse relationship, traditional inverse relationship with US dollar and gold. We've seen US dollar weaken over the last few days, and we are seeing gold strengthen, going back up to test the 2,697, the 2,700 level. That's what buyers are looking for. Good to see the traditional inverse relationship in place. I'm looking here, zooming in just that little bit. We're sitting at 2,685 for now. Of course, the CPI data release coming up in just over 15 minutes will affect the US dollar, and we will see how that affects, and will affect, I have no doubt, the performance of gold, and whether buyers will still be able to dominate and come up to this resistance level. What has been interesting, and I looked at closely this morning, is Brent oil. And yes, I did some drawing, because I think it is relevant. We've had 3 down days. That's following the big gap up we saw to start the week, has continued Monday, Tuesday, and so far today. Set support at 78.65. But this, the uptrend still intact. You can see moving EMAs have not crossed over. And why I put in the Fibonacci retracement tool, we can see that it's turning around. I'm trying to judge, is this a retracement? Is this going to be a reversal? What's the first level that's really going to be tested on this downside, the sell-off? That would be my first Fibonacci retracement level, and that's at 38.2%, and that is at 77.81. There it is. So that's the first level that's going to, for me, that's going to really test, and looking at big picture here, whether this turnaround has legs, whether it's going to reverse, or whether this is just this is in response to the big gap up we saw and this big move up to 81.62. So we'll watch that carefully and see if sellers are able to maintain, able to continue, get back down to the 78.69, which it has established today, and then go on to test the first fib retracement level at 77.81. Bitcoin. Big fight back from the low we saw at 89, and that reaching 89,000, very relevant. The fact that sellers were able to test and break below the 90,000 level down here to the 89,300, but buyers stepped in it a little bit later and after they usually do and show demand at around the 90,000. So it went a little bit lower, but have a look how buyers stepped in, took it all the way back up to 94,000. Yesterday continued and went all the way to close at 96,546. And so far today, looks like buyers still maintaining and went higher than yesterday to 97,659. Just want to zoom out. I was looking on the hourly to find, it's hard to find a relevant level to work with for looking for trading opportunities. I went to the hourly and I put in, you can see the red line, and the red line I put in here is at 96,000. And why I think 96,000 is relevant, if I go back, you can see how many times on the hourly it has been relevant. It's acted as a support level, bounced off it. Support level, bounced off it, and then it's acted as a very close to resistance level, come back down, resistance level, come back down. And that's why I've got this 96,000 could well be the pivotal level and an area, a level to look at for looking for an opportune time to take a trade. If it comes down to the 96, will it bounce off? Will this resistance turn into support and give an opportunity for buyers to rejoin this uptrend? Alternatively, sellers, if it comes down and breaks below the 96, maybe that could start a reversal and see a downtrend evolve. We'll watch that closely. I just thought it was worth noting this 96,000 level. Good trading, guys. See you at the end of day. Keep that discipline and watch out for the CPR release, which is coming out now in just under 15 minutes. Good trading.